Hello and welcome. Time for another modern video. So what I've been wanting to do for quite some time now is shift over my Jeskai Control build that I played a lot in Legacy towards a modern build. I've played Jeskai Control in the past when One Ring was still legal in modern. Really liked it, but I haven't seen a deck that I really like after the bans. And I've been figuring out trying to make my Legacy lists as much as I can the same in modern as it is in Legacy. That was the idea. And I was scanning around. What I did is I combined the list that I saw that were the regular, if I can call it like that, Jeskai Control builds, and there's also a new blue-red wizard kind of deck list floating around. And after combining the two, I came up with this, and I've been loving this. So let's just dive into the list, what I've built, and why I really like this. I'm going to be doing these are going to be recorded games that I'm going to be talking you through, because I only played one league with this build, and I felt really happy with the list, as you will see in some of those games. So what I did is basically, let's go over the lands first. 21 lands, you're playing a control deck, that's what you want. You should be playing 22 lands, but there's one Lord and Revealed in here, so this is land number 22. As we always do in control decks, we play these Surveyor lands. I'm playing Jeskai, so you play all three, and the rest is pretty stock. So this is, as you can see, this deck list is reliant on red as well. You also have the double white pips you need for Faithless Looting, so we have double plains, double island, because I'm also playing the counter spells, so I don't think you need double blue and double white, and only one red is fine, because all the pips here are just one red. Sure, Escaping Flage sometimes require double red, but you will be able to find it if you need it. I'm playing Flage, so I like one Arena of Glory, so you can play it at instant speed. Well, not instant speed, you can give the creature haste if you need to, and the rest is relatively stock. You play some of these lands, shock lands, and you also have some basics because you want to be able to play around Blood Moon, etc. So what I've done is I've been wanting to adapt something that I really liked about Jeskai Control, which is being able to potentially play Wrath of the Skies on turn 2. So I'm playing 3 tuned narratives. Is 3 the correct number? I'm not sure. I like this. I could see myself cutting 1 tune to play 1 more threat. And then I'm just playing the best removal spells in the format right now, which is Galvanic Discharge and Wrath of the Skies. Playing 2 Prismatic Endings because I've been seeing a lot of uptick in the frog decks, like Blue-Black Frog or Murktide or Oculus, whatever you want to call it. And Ending is really good against that matchup. This deck is very good against frog decks because you have so much removal spells. So I really do like that. Then, Counter Magic, 4 forces, 3 counter spells, and 2 spell pierce. I like this. I could see myself cutting 1 force negation for 1 more counter spell, though. Not that many combo decks. Usually, when I'm playing online, I've been seeing a lot of frog decks, so force negation is not great in that matchup. And then I'm playing, this is interesting, I'm playing a different kind of threat suite than you've probably seen in control decks, because I'm also playing the Apparent Oculus. This card is nuts. Usually Jeskai is very prone to graveyard hate, and I wanted to prevent that from happening. So I don't want to rely solely on Flage, because 1 Surgical and the game's over. So I really like the split between 2 Flage, 2 Apparent Oculus. It's really good. Sure, if they get rid of the graveyard, it still sucks. But normally you will be able to exile 6 cards. Usually people wait to get rid of the graveyard until you've seen Flage, or Flage is in the yard. So playing the Oculus is really nice. And then Tamiyo, this is the first card I actually put into the list. I love Tamiyo, and I think Tamiyo is going to be very good in Modern now, specifically because they unbanned Faithless Looting. This is our brainstorm. It's really that good. You can turn to play Tamiyo, Faithless Looting, and immediately it flips. It's insane. So that's the after the bans, I immediately went to this list, and the first thing I did was add 4 Tamiyo, 4 Faithless Looting, and then I went from there. I like Planeswalkers, especially when you're playing 4 Wrath of the Skies, so I'm playing 2 Narsets, 2 Teferis. I could see myself playing around with the numbers a bit, but currently having this as my my threat suite is something that I really liked. Sideboarding. As always, when you're playing Control, the deck that I was most afraid of is Eldrazi. I think I still have some work figuring out that matchup. So, I mean, this is stock right now. 4 Consigned to Memories for the Eldrazi matchup, and I'm even playing 3 Blood Moons myself. We have a lot of basics, so we'll be able to make that work. I'm not sure if Blood Moon is correct after playing the league. I could see myself trying out something different. I'm not sure what, though. Blood Moon is definitely the best. Maybe Harbinger, because I'm playing with double 2. I'm not sure about Blood Moon. All the rest I'm pretty happy with. Like 3 Pyroclasms, really good because Boros Energy is an excellent matchup. 1 Dispute, 1 Spell Pierce. Maybe after playing the League, I am going to play 1 more Mystical Dispute instead of the Spell Pierce, because again, Murktide is everywhere. And then 1 Ghost Vacuum and 2 Containment Priests. I really like the Containment Priest because it's also a threat. And you can even bring it in against some creature-based matchups. For example, I bring this in against Boros Energy, mainly because it's just a creature. So it can block another creature, even though it doesn't do anything else. Sure, it stops Flage from happening, so it could be relevant, but that's it. So looking back on this, I was very happy with the sideboard, but I'm not sure about these Blood Moons, as you will see in the League. Alright, let's go watch the games. Before we get started, thank you all for watching and for the great comments that I've gotten about putting out more content. I will be trying to put out 3 videos a week from now on, moving forward, and a lot of you really like my content, so thanks for the great responses that I've gotten for that. It's really lovely, and don't forget to subscribe if you do like this content, because as you can see, I will be trying out more decks and making more videos, so thanks for the support. Anyway, let's go into the games. This hand's fine. It has Tamiyo, it has counter magic, so it's okay. Unfortunately, no removal in here, so if we are playing against a a creature-based deck, we could be in trouble. So we'll have to see how that will shape out. Now we do have counter spell, so if we do get to untap here without them having played a threat turn 2, we could be okay. Now we are playing against blue-black, it seems. So if they play Troll, I'm afraid, but nothing I can do about it. So let's see what we're up against. Okay, Unearth immediately on the Graveyard Trespasser. Don't want to have that don't want that happening, so I will play the Force of Negation. Not that many targets, and as I said, Force of Negation isn't the best against the blue-black decks. So if you can Force of Negation something, you should do that. Okay, another Unearth. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to play the Steam Vents, and the reason for this is that I was fine with them having the Trespasser, because next turn I'm actually going to Flage. I will have to discard a card, right? So if I discard, that's not the end of the world, because I have Tamiyo, so I will start redrawing cards. And as I said, counter magic, not the best in this matchup, not something that you really want. So I was okay with having to use the Flage. So they have to kill this Tamiyo, which I was okay with. We draw land, that's also nice. So now I'm actually able to just Flage. There we go. I get rid of the Graveyard Trespasser. And after having drawn the Elegant Parlor, this is perfect, because what I want to do is I want to recast Flage. So I was okay discarding the counter spell, because next turn I can play the Parlor and then I can win the game from there. Unfortunately for me, they actually do find the Harbinger, so that was really scary. I am able to play the Narset because it's all islands now, but this Harbinger is just, that just completely annihilated me. And I think I'm going to scoop him up very soon here. That Harbinger was a really good draw, and I just concede. Okay. So I think I had the game under control, but Harbinger, yikes, that was scary. So really lovely that we get to play against Blue-Black Frog as the first deck, because I do think that this is the best deck in Modern right now, and you can expect to be playing against this a lot. But this deck is very well set up to deal with what they are trying to do. Let's go to sideboarding. Current Modern does feel really fun to me. Playing against Grixis Murktide feels like you're playing Legacy. And being able to play Jeskai Control also feels like you're playing Legacy. Modern is slowly becoming more and more Legacy-esque, if I can call it like that, which is something that I, of course, enjoy. Now for sideboarding, as you can see, not that many sideboard cards I brought in. Basically what you want to do is you want to take out Force Negations, because those cards are bad, and then you take in removal spells and counter magic. That's it. So Mystical Disputes, of course, very good, and you bring in some removal spells. I also brought in 1 Containment Priest, because they have the Unearth package. I don't want 2, I think, but I think 1 is fine. So this opening hand, well, it's good, the card's in them, but I only have a mountain, so I can't keep that, so that was a mulligan, of course. This opening hand is not great, not gonna lie, I didn't feel particularly good about this opening hand, but I'm not gonna mulligan to 5, because then I just might as well concede. I did have some removal spells, so 1, 2, 3, being able to play Narset soon is very good against these decks. So I was like, yeah, this is okay, let's make it work. Galvanic Discharge, really good draw here, especially in combination with the Wrath of the Skies. This is why I really like playing the Wraths and the removal spells package that we are playing, because it just enables the Wrath of the Skies so quickly. And at this point, I was already feeling like I had already won. I'm going to pause here for a second. I actually got a Hallowed Fountain here. It's interesting why I didn't get another Surveyor land. Main reason is I want to have double white, but I also want to have double blue. So the only option that I had was to get to Hallowed Fountain. As you can see, I have Narset and I have Wrath of the Skies. So I want to be able to cast both of them. So that's why I didn't get another Surveyor land, because this was the only that gave me another white and another blue. So that makes sense, right? Okay, so if we're going to go draw go all the time, that's the game plan that I'd be wanting to be playing. So I'm happy with this. I'm just going to chill. Okay, another discharge, excellent. So I'm just going to do nothing here. I mean, they have to make the first move, and then I will have all this energy available. So if we're going to be playing draw go, my deck is heavily favored. Okay, Psychic Frog, this is fine. So here's the strategy that I was aiming towards. I'm going to definitely get rid of this frog. What I'm hoping that they're going to do is I'm going to discharge. They will probably throw 2 cards into the frog. Then I can just gain the energy, deal 0 damage, and then I can discharge again. If they want to use all their cards to save the frog, I then have Wrath of the Skies. So whatever the outcome is, I just want them discarding cards from the hand, right? So discharge as expected. They will throw some cards on the frog. I'm fine with that, so I just say fine. I'm curious to see if they're going to save the frog now, which they will not, which makes sense. And I feel like this is the time for me to play the Narset. If they counter this, that's okay, not the end of the world. Now, you just want to wiggle them down is maybe not the correct word. You just want them to start discarding cards. That's the main idea. Okay, here they're going to play Frog into, I think it was the Oculus. Perfect, because I can Wrath, and I've already won the game. So as you can see, if you have a lot of removal spells, you're fine. Keep in mind, we had a mulligan to 6, so being able to come back in this way is really, really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to get rid of everything and pay 1 extra. Do not play the Tamiyo. I didn't want to do that. I want to play Tamiyo when I can and have mana up. So I'm just going to wait 1 more turn, and this allows me to bag 1 energy in case I need to play the Wrath of the Skies. As with the Legacy deck, it's so cool that my opponent has to spend removal spells because it's basically a dead card in their hand. Now, Bitter Triumph is really good because it also destroys Planeswalkers, so keep that in mind that that card exists. Okay, so we're just going to go draw go all the time. I'm keeping this Containing Priest in the hand. I'm hoping that they're going to go for Unearth, and if they do play the Unearth, I can really get them. So I'm going to play the Priests. They do have Counterspell, that's unfortunate. But again, another card gone from the hand, and I have more than enough energy to make Wrath of the Skies work. Especially with me having drawn the Spell Pierce here, excellent. I'm just going to Wrath of the Skies for everything. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, so I need 1 threat on my own, and I think we win the game. Now, they are drawing really well. They are drawing a lot of threats here. Again, this is why I banked the energy. I just want to get rid of threats that they might have. Looting, so not the best looting here, but I will be able to find the stuff that I need eventually. They tune, so I tune, they Mystical Dispute. I'm just going to draw the card because I want to find another removal spell or a way to get rid of Abhorrent Oculus. So with me having 3 energy now, I can just get rid of the Oculus, and this is the game that I will win. So we both have empty hands, but I have Faithless Looting, so I will win. I just need to find one of my threats. Best thing here to find is probably Flage. I have my own Oculus too, so this is the game plan what you want to be playing. So draw the land, very bad. And there we have the Flage, put into the yard, and also play the Oculus, nice. So yeah, that felt really good, and I think this was the turn where we won the game, purely based off the fact that we are playing the Faithless Lootings. So I put another threat into the board here, and we win the game from there. Lovely. As I said, this feels like Legacy to me. It really did, where I'm playing the control deck, and they're playing the Delver-esque deck, and it was really cool gameplay. Game 3. So sideboarding, no changes. This hand is okay. Nothing more. But I mean, if I have an okay hand, I don't want to get rid of cards because it's very important in a matchup to have. Being down a count is really impactful. As we saw, we ended up in a situation where it was 0-0, right? 0 cards in hand for them and also for me. So having each card that you might have is important. And I saw that my hand was terrible, so that I'm going to keep. Okay, so if this is what you want them to not have threats early, especially turn 2 is scary because of the frog. Now, with me having drawn Prismatic Ending, really good. I could see myself going up on the amount of Prismatic Endings, because you can get rid of every threat in the deck except for Murktide, so I was pretty happy. They're going to put some stuff into the yard. Really hoping that they go for Unearth at some point so I can Containment Priest. That's what I was hoping for, but they have Frog. I'm going to try and counter this, and if it fails, then I can just follow it up with Prismatic Ending next turn, so I'm hoping that they counter. They don't, but they do have Unearth. That's okay, because I can simply get rid of it with Prismatic Ending. So let's do just that. And the longer this game goes on, you know, I'm feeling very, very favored already. Now, they do have Thoughtseize, and they get rid of Wrath of the Skies, which is unfortunate, so that's not great for us. So I need a way to actually come back from this, but we just draw another Wrath, and that's game. So I just Wrath everything after getting some energy. And I think now, if I untap, I think I've won the game. So they will push the Tamiyo, that's okay. As you can see, they keep in removal spells, which is not great against Jeskai Control, because they have removal spells for 4 Tamiyos, and I also have 2 Oculus. But if they want to use removal spells on Flage, it's really bad. So they keep in removal spells for 6 cards in my entire deck. That's excellent, excellent exchange. Okay, so let's find cards that we want with this looting here. Get rid of a bunch of bad lands. I'm just going to play this Mesa. I will find a threat eventually. Keep the Containment Priests for when they want to unearth something. I really did like bringing in the Singleton Containment Priests. Again, I don't think I would ever want to play 2. Having 1 is fine. I just play it here because I'm kind of hoping that they would kill the Containment Priest, Teferi, and it resolves. So I'm happy. This means they have no counter magic, or they would have countered the Teferi. But at this point, I can't see myself losing anymore. So I'm getting my basics here, because I'm afraid of them playing the Harbinger. Just bounce that, play the Tamiyo. I'm just gonna Faithless Looting immediately, because I want to flip the Tamiyo. So now I have 2 Planeswalkers and the threat, so again, how am I gonna lose this game? I have full control at this point. So I'm feeling really good, just going to control the board a bit. They Thoughtseize me. I'm actually going to Galvanic Discharge my own Priest, deal 0 damage and bank 3 energy, because, you know, Wrath of the Skies is a card. So let's do just that. Teferi is really nice. So I bring back Ending here, and so let me just explain to you what I did. So with Tamiyo, I bring back Ending to the hand, and I plus Teferi. So this means that I can now play Sorcery with instant speed. So I'm going to attack the Frog. I'm hoping that my opponent then puts 1 card on the Frog, so I can in response Ending. Now, my opponent should know about all of this, but it still happens, you know. People are not very used to playing against Teferi in Modern, I found, so they do put a counter on the Frog. In response, I will Ending the Frog, and I have Counterspell left with Teferi, so I don't see myself losing this game anymore. Okay, so they will probably, so they had 1 black, they wanted to unearth, as you can see, but then I remembered that I had the Containment Priest, and they just concede. Nice. This was a really sweet game. I love this, and the deck felt really good, very well set up to deal with the Oculus deck. This is typical. This is the control deck I want to be playing. Yeah, sweet. Very sweet. Let's go to the next round. So basically, for any deck right now to be competitive, you need to be able to beat 2 decks. 1, the deck that we just beat, the Murktide deck, or Oculus, whatever you want to call it. And then 2, Boros Energy. In this league, we'll be playing against both. And I think this is the one against Energy. I'm not sure anymore, but regardless, this hand's pretty good. I'm going to keep. So this is all fine, especially with the Oculus. Combination of Oculus and Faithless Looting is just so amazingly good. I really do love this. Maybe it's Mardu Energy. I'm not sure. Then again, we have white-black, so... yeah, okay, it wasn't Mardu Energy. I don't remember exactly. Okay, so it was a reanimated deck. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, since they put some stuff into the graveyard, I'm going to Galvanic Discharge immediately, because this deck very often plays Flare of Denial, and I don't want them to be able to cash in the creature. You don't need... Removal spells aren't that great against this deck, so feel free to just do this. I want to have the option to counterspell, so I'm going to play the land and pass. We shall see what my opponent does. Best thing is they just do nothing, but they just play Archive. Let me just pause here. Since the graveyard is so important, I think for the remainder of the video I'm just going to put the graveyards here so you guys can see what's up. Okay, so I get the Archive here, Counterspell I put down on top, playing against a combo deck, so I really like that. Of course, not use the Lorien, otherwise that would be gone, so that would be silly. Okay, I think double Counterspell should be good for me, especially against this deck. So they have Frog. I'm going to counter. If they counter back, it's okay, because I can get rid of it if I want to. I also have the Oculus soon, so once I have the Oculus down, it becomes difficult for them to deal with. Okay, so now I will get a land, get Hallowed Fountain, so I have double white, double red. With me having found the Galvanic Discharge, that's really good, but I'm going to start with playing the Narset. The idea here of playing Narset first is, what I wanted to have happen is, if they have Counter Magic, then I would be able to get it out of their hand. And if it resolves, that means they will not be able to draw with the Frog, because I would have just not minused. They would have had to put all the cards that they had in hand on the Frog to get a Narset, and that's also a good exchange for me. Anyway, we're going to Faithless Looting since that failed. Not the best draws here. Counterspell, I think, is not what I want to be doing right now. I need to get this Frog under control. So I will be playing Tamiyo and Oculus and Discharge. If I draw a land, I can actually play all three of this. What I want to have happen is I want to gain back control. And as long as Frog is alive, I will not be able to gain control. Now, here I'm going to play the Oculus first. Hope that it resolves. There we go. So they do not have removal. Sorry, no counter magic, so I'm happy. I'm going to also play the Tamiyo, because if they do have a removal spell for the Oculus, then I could be in trouble. So they bring back Cura, that's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. There were not any of those very big monsters currently in the yard yet, so I felt okay tapping out. Okay, gonna be able to manifest. This was a really good manifest because we have Flage, and if you are able to manifest Flage, what will happen is it will remain a 6/6, so that's really, really cool. Okay, so we're going to manifest the Flage. I'm going to kill the Cura. I expect that they will block with the Octopus token, but they do not do that, which is okay by me. And I think I'm slowly gaining control back. I didn't want them to rebound the Cura to draw 2 cards, but they will just slam in with both. I feel that's okay. I'm going to block the Frog. The idea here being, I want them to dump 2 cards into the Frog. Sure, they killed Tamiyo, but look at my hand. I have another Tamiyo, I have removal spells, I don't really care. I just do not want them to draw cards. I want them to put cards into the Frog. I mean, okay with that. Especially this. So they put 2 cards in the Frog, and in response I can Galvanic Discharge before the last counter goes on the Frog. So excellent exchange for me. And now I think I have this under full control. I'm a bit afraid of them being able to reanimate Atraxa, but they have 1 turn to do that, because this Flage will kill very, very fast. They're at 1, so I felt really good. I'm just going to Faithless Looting. Ideally, I would have found Counter Magic, which I didn't do. But okay, if I didn't find Counter Magic, I'm just going to play all the things that I have in my deck, and they just draw land, so we kill them. Very nice. Let's go to sideboarding. So opening hand here is okay. Currently, I only have a plains here, so we could be in trouble depending on the lands that we draw. I really want to be able to play the counter spell, and I need to have a second blue mana source, so I will try and search for that. But we do have Mystical Dispute, so it's not like I can't do anything. I would have just gotten rid of anything that's not a land at this point. Well, not a blue land anyway. But we did draw Spell Pierce, that's okay. So I think with my hand, as long as I find 1 land in here, we should be good. Anyway, so they're going to play Teferi. Really nice that I get the Spell Pierce that. Decide to keep the Mystical Dispute because it's a bit more, I think Spell Pierce was the most narrow one in here, and we do find an island. And with me having found the island, I was very happy. So I dispute the Archaeologists. I just don't want them having access to anything, really. So I draw another land, and that means it's time for me to play Tamiyo. So I'm going to basically never do anything unless I have a counterspell up. Teferi, really good draw here. So I'm not going to play the Teferi, because if I play Teferi, I am not able to have counterspell up. So they Solitude, get rid of Tamiyo. This is why I think playing a couple of these creatures is so good in Jeskai Control, because don't get me wrong, Tamiyo is nice, but you don't need it. If your opponent spends cards on getting rid of your threats, that's what you want to have happen. And this is why I like playing Tamiyo, Flage, and the Oculus, because very often, as I said, Jeskai Control is usually prone to 1 or 2 cards that get rid of all the threats, like Surgical on Flage, and I didn't want that to be an issue. But I also consider Teferi to be a threat or a win condition, and so is Narset very often. So here we do have Tamiyo, so that's really nice. Now I'm able to Faithless Looting and flip the Tamiyo immediately, which is really, really good. That's very also good here because I can then put Flage into the graveyard, but they do have Force negation. Now, I will not fight over this. I will not, in response, counterspell, because I really want to have Teferi. Reason why I play Teferi here is the reanimation targets currently in the graveyard were not that impactful, and now I can just play Tamiyo and draw a card each turn and have these counter spells up. So I expect that as long as I keep one counter spell up, I should be good, and we will draw a second blue source at a certain point, and then the game is just locked. So the only thing I need is another blue pip, and we're good. But if we don't do that, my opponent has used so much cards that I'm okay, just waiting. Okay, so they are going to Prismatic Ending the Tamiyo, but we did find another land. Now, interesting choice, because do I want to play the Tamiyo and not have double counterspell up, or do I just want to chill? Now, I feel like my opponent has such a good combination of cards already that if they just have a reanimation spell, they will fire it off immediately, because you don't want to wait for too long against control. So I don't think my opponent actually had the luxury of waiting. So I'm just going to play Tamiyo here. I'm also going to play the Teferi, and reason for doing this is that if they do have a reanimation spell now, I can still counterspell, and they will not be able to fight back. So they need double reanimation spells. I highly doubt that will happen anytime soon. So I'm even debating what I should do about Teferi. You can see me doubting for a second, but I said to myself, so what are they going to do with Teferi, right? If I counter the Teferi and they have reanimation target, that's still going to happen because I've used my counterspell. And if they do have Teferi, then what are they going to do? They're probably going to bounce the Tamiyo, and then I can actually use these discharges. So I actually was fine with them playing the Teferi, as long as if I can just get rid of the Teferi next turn. So I just plus first, I'm going to get rid of the Teferi, say yes, I'm going to play the Tamiyo, and they have reanimation target. I will counterspell, and they can't respond, and they just concede. So nice. Again, really cool game, felt like Legacy, felt like I was playing against Reanimator, and I really loved it. Let's go to round 3. But before we do that, I forgot about sideboarding, so let me just show you now. Relatively easy sideboarding. You take out bad removal spells, so I take out Wrath of the Skies and Tune, and you bring in Graveyard Hate and Counter Magic. That's it. Okay, so round 3. I have thought about this opening hand for a while, because I can turn 1 play Tamiyo, but then I'm not going to do anything for the next couple of turns. Elegant Parlor enters tapped, so if I fail to find a red land, I have nothing else going on, and then I would have to wait another turn to play the Looting, and then that basically means I've done nothing for 2 turns. So I ended up mulliganing this hand. I'm still to this day not sure if this is correct. I felt like, it did work out because this mulligan is much better, I think. But I could have seen myself keeping the opener, but I thought about it for a while. Okay, so we're playing against Boros Energy. Nice. We've been playing against a lot of top decks here, so Energy you need to be able to beat. Otherwise, your deck is not going to be good in the meta. So I really like that we got to play against this. They're actually able to play our Tamiyo. So interesting. I do have Wrath of the Skies, so I just wanted to find white land so I can get rid of everything. Don't want Spell Pierce. So drawing Force Negations are horrible. Force Negation definitely the worst card in the deck against Boros Energy. So those will be easy cuts for game 2. Okay, they slam in. Them being able to play my Tamiyo is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. I will be able to Wrath of the Skies next turn. So I'm just hoping for some 1-drops. That would be ideal. Now they did draw, so they are playing this really, really well, because what they are going to do is they do play a 1-drop. What they can do is they can still draw from the clue token, and now Ocelot Pride says for each token you make a copy. So this is also a token, so they get double clues and they also get a treasure. So they're going to be able to, if I board wipe, they're going to be able to sack the 2 treasures. And then they can draw from the clue, and with the mana here they can also draw a clue. So while the Wrath of the Skies will not be that impactful because they get to redraw twice, but I mean I can't not do this, right? I have to just board wipe or I'm just going to be dead way too soon. Okay, so that happened. They gained some tokens. all very good for them. I'm just going to play my land. Now we did redraw Wrath of the Skies. I really like that. So I'm just going to board wipe. As I said, they will draw. There we go. And then the board wipe does happen. And I pass through the turn. Arena of Glory played a Seasoned Pyromancer. That's okay. It's a bit slow, so if they're going to be playing it slow, I'm happy. They did find Flage. That's unfortunate. That kills relatively quickly. So I need to find, I need to hit lands, but unfortunately I didn't at this point. So I needed to play it safe because they are able to rebring Flage, but I can't let them do too much damage to me. So I just decided to discharge the Pyromancer and try and control the board. I also have this counter spell. I don't want to counterspell a Flage. I want to counterspell a Flage when it comes back from the graveyard. That's the idea. So again, I need to draw land so I can hopefully Wrath and have counterspell up. That was the idea, but currently not ideal. They can also use Arena of Glory to give Flage haste. So I need to have counterspell or I just lose, because if they are able to escape Flage at haste, I'm just dead immediately because they're going to deal 3 and slam in for 6. They have another Flage, so that's really unfortunate. And I'm not too excited about this. I think I'm going to be in trouble. But we do draw land finally. There we go. So I will go to 1. Now I can do exactly the Wrath of the Skies, get rid of these tokens, and I have counterspell up. Still, not feeling particularly great, because 1 land and they can exile the Pyromancer to get 2 tokens, and then I have nothing for it. Okay, Ragavan, I just have to say sure, whatever, because again, if I tap out, they just kill me with Flage. So I'm going to draw into Wrath was really good. I'm just going to get rid of this Ragavan. But again, I'm not sure if we're ever going to be able to stabilize here. Being at 1 life is scary. Them not doing anything, that's really good. Interesting that they didn't go for the Flage. I'm just going to Lorien here. Thundering Falls. Put Plains in the graveyard. Maybe, if we get lucky, maybe, and they fail to find a land every single time. But they have Philia. If I counter this, they just bring back the Flage, so I'm dead. So, sideboarding. You have a very good matchup against this deck. So, what you do is you take out bad spells. Counter magic is not good, so Force Negation, Spell Pierce. Really not what you want, and then you bring in all your removal spells. Pyroclasm is definitely the best one. And I also bring in these Containment Priests, mainly because they are just flashable threats that you can then use to kill early attackers. That's the idea. You need to get to the late game. And it paid out, as you will see soon. Anyway, this hand's great because it has removal spells and Pyroclasm. It even has the sweet combination of being able to turn 1 Tune into turn 2 Wrath for X2. That's just, it is really, really cool. It really is. So they do have the Ragavan, so I start out by playing the Tune, and here I'm just going to chill. So as I said, they will slam in with Ragavan, and this is really cool because I'm now able to play the Containment Priest, kill the Ragavan, which is excellent. Priest is not going to be very good in the matchup. You can also prevent them from having the Flage, not irrelevant, but this is what the Containment Priest needed to do. Them not doing anything is excellent, because being able to slam down this Narset is fine. If they play the dog, the Flash Dog, the name suddenly, I don't remember. That was a bit something I was afraid of, but them not having it is cool, because at this point, with me having found double Pyroclasm, I can't see myself losing. Okay, we find Teferi, that's really good. So I'm just going to Lorien here, play the island. I want to have basics if I can. I'm just going to play the Teferi, Goblin Shaman. So at this point, I don't think we can lose ever, because the second ability here from the Mirror Breaker is not going to work because I have Narset. So very often people forget. So I was curious to see if they were going to draw some cards, but they decided not to. So they do remember. And the reason why Teferi is something that I wanted to play is that I can now play sorceries at instant speed every single time. So energy just cannot beat that. Look at my hand. I mean, how am I going to lose? I have the option to Pyroclasm and Counterspell whenever I want to. So even this, they have Orim's Chant. In response, I just Pyroclasm. It's it's disgusting. And let the Orim's Chant resolve. It's irrelevant. They do have a haste creature, so that was really, really good on them. but they will only be able to kill Narset, and Teferi is the one that's winning me the game. So we are now at a situation where I have 7 cards in hand and my opponent has 2, right? I think that speaks for itself. So I always want to have the option of being able to counterspell and have removal up, or one of the two. So I'm only going to play this Oculus as soon as we have a situation where I have I can play the Oculus and have counter magic up. Okay, Orm's Chant, sure, it's just such a bad card when you have Teferi, so they're going to Seasoned Pyromancer, all good. My opponent's down to 1 card, and I have a healthy 7 cards in hand now. Okay, we draw the land, so this is perfect. This means that I can now play the Oculus and I still have the option of Pyroclasm. honestly, this is disgusting. Let's get some basics in case my opponent tries to go for Blood Moon. It happens against Jeskai, so be aware of that. I can also now still play Pyroclasm or Counterspell. Just going to put a Manifest creature in. Goblin Bombardment. I even let that one resolve because I'm going to Wrath of the Skies next turn. I don't really care. I do not want them to have a Yanni, because they can get a Planeswalker, and I think that's something that could kill me, and they just concede. The writing on the wall is there. They know that they have lost the game. Really cool game. Let's go to game 3. So I thought about this hand too, because I do have the option of playing Ending and Wrath, but I only have 2 planes, and I just don't think that's something that you can keep. So unfortunately, I ended up mulliganing here and got rewarded. This is much, much better. This is a keep. Again, I'm playing Pyroclasms for a reason, so yeah, snap keep here. So being able to start with Tamiyo turn 1 is also very, very nice. So we just get it. Play the Steam Vents, so I have the option to play red, of course. They play Yanni, nice. I'm already considering whether or not I should Pyroclasm. I decided not to, because I really want them to just dump their hand onto the board, and then this Pyroclasm would be excellent. Now, it looks like they are missing a land drop. No, they didn't. So they just play threats. Here we go, they play Yanni. We can't have the Planeswalker. That's the only thing I really don't want to have happen. So I have to use the Galvanic Discharge, unfortunately. But I was pretty happy about being able to Pyroclasm here. Perfect. My opponent's down to 3 cards, so again, you just need to survive the early game, and if I'm going to be able to play this Oculus soon, we will win fairly easily, I think, especially with my opponents. Usually they board out removal spells against Jeskai, which is something that they should do, I think. Perfect draw here, Faithless Looting, so I can dump some bad cards into the graveyard, play the Oculus, and from there have full control of the game. Thinking about what to get, I end up getting the Sacred Foundry, so I have the option to have double white if I need to. Okay, get rid of some cards, play the Oculus, pass the turn. I give my Oculus haste, so I can attack. I just want to kill them as soon as possible. This Oculus is big and has flying. Okay, so no creature in here, but okay, not the end of the world. I have Faithless Looting too. They even attack here, which is nice. I'm okay with that. They play Parlor, play Pride, all good. So I'm going to see what's up. We find Wrath of the Skies, perfect. So I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to attack, get a Manifest token, and next turn I'm probably just going to board wipe with Wrath of the Skies if I need to. Let's see if we find a creature. We do not, but it's okay. We still have a 2/2, and they just concede. So quite a dominant performance. I feel like this was not close. My deck felt really good, so we were able to beat both Boros Energy relatively easily, and then we had a very, very cool game against the Murktide deck, or the Oculus deck, and I think those are the 2 decks to beat, so off to a great start. I felt really good here. Next round. I'm on the play, and I have a pretty good hand, so I'm just going to keep. My opponent mulligans to 6, so we just start off with Archive. Tune is good because I have double Wrath of the Sky, so I decide to keep it on top. Hoping to be playing against some kind of a creature-based matchup. Ideally, if I was playing against Boros Energy, this would be nuts. But we are playing against the Oculus deck, it seems, which is also good. My hand's pretty well set up to deal with what they're trying to do. So I put the card here. Played an Narset. So that was pretty fast. Let's just pause here for a second. So end of turn, I tune. I also leave the card on top, the Force Negation, and then I play the Narset, and it actually resolves. So I was really happy. If Narset resolves against the Oculus deck, that's where you want to be, because it just completely shuts down the Frog deck. Okay, there we go. We have the Frog. Now I have these Wraths, so I'm going to start out by playing a Wrath for X is 1, and they counter this. Now, because them having countered this means that I'm just not going to do anything with the Narset, because they need to put 2 counters on the Frog to get rid of this Narset. And if they do that, at least it makes them lose cards. What I really wanted to do last turn is being able to Wrath of the Skies and have the option to counter. However, I needed to bank the energy. So this is unfortunate, and I thought about it for a while, because look, I did cast the Wrath of the Skies here, but I didn't have the option to counter back, which is unfortunate, because I needed these to have white, and this one enter tapped. If this was an untapped land, I could have used white, and then have blue up for the counter spell, but yeah, a bit of I mean, this is the thing with our lands occasionally. Now, we do have another Wrath left, so this is okay, because now I can do it the way I described. Let's play the Wrath. I expect them to counter, and now I can counter back. Boom. So if we untap here without them having a threat, we're good. But we shall see. They have the Oculus. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world. So they will manifest Dread. Now we are drawing these Force Negations, which are, as I said before, pretty bad. So you can see why I want to have more of the sideboard card here. This one. I really want to have more of these mystical disputes, because they just counter everything. They counter the Frog, they counter the Oculus, they also counter like a Murktide if they have it. So I think this is a card that I will be playing more of, especially since it only costs 1, which is so good. And we are just going to draw blanks, and we are going to lose. Unfortunate, but so be it, that happens. So they're going to have the Oculus. I needed to draw exactly into Wrath of the Skies here, but we failed to find it. So sideboarding. I already discussed sideboarding for this deck, so I'm not going to do it again. This hand's okay, but it has only 1 land, so I was a bit afraid, but I figured that, okay, so I'm going to have a Surveyor land, I'm also going to have a draw, and I also have Tune. So the chances of me not finding a land are very, very low, so I decided to just spin the wheels, and we ended up finding it, but I was afraid, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so I'm going to play a Tamiyo. We are dumping a lot of cards into the graveyard very quickly, which is nice. Ideally, we are going to find a land, but we failed to do that. We do have counterspell up, so it's not the end of the world, but I wasn't extremely happy with this, not having drawn a land. However, we are able to end of turn go for drawing a card. They Thoughtseize me and discard counterspell. Now, they are Mana Screw too, so we are doing the battle of the Mana Screw, which is always interesting. We did find Faithless Looting, which is excellent, but we failed to find the land again. That is really unfortunate, but at least we have Tamiyo, right? So we tune, we get another land, and now we should be good. We should be good. They have the Oculus, which is really powerful, but I found so much energy at this point that I'm able to relatively easy kill that. And I'm just going to try and ultimate my Tamiyo. So they get a land as well. They have the Harbinger. But get rid of it. It's too slow. That ship has sailed, which is something that they do realize. So they're going to slam in. They need to keep my Tamiyo low. But I'm going to be able to make it slightly bigger each turn. And if I ult, we just win. So this is funny because Nihil Spellbomb is sure. I don't care. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I really wanted to do against the deck. Being able to not lose immediately to Graveyard Hate. And Tamiyo, if I just draw my entire deck, I don't need a Graveyard. I will refill quickly enough. Drawing Blood Moon here is quite funny because all my entire deck is just, if I do that, is dead. So you can see why Blood Moon can sometimes be not ideal. It's a sideboard slot I'm not entirely sure of yet, as I've mentioned before. Anyway, back to this game. So they slam in. Sure, don't really care. Another Spellbomb is completely fine, irrelevant. Let's draw a card and turn. That's nice. Containment Priest is not... It's whatever. It's fine. We finally find the land that we need. And now I feel very safe. Because next turn I will ult with the Tamiyo and I have Counterspell up. They draw from the Spellbomb. which is okay. They attack on Tamiyo, putting it down to 7, but I will just ultimate. If you have the ultimate, you cannot lose anymore. I've literally never lost after using a Tamiyo ultimate. They play a land, let's see what they get. They have the frog. I'm actually going to let it resolve, because what I want to do next turn is play the Wrathless guys first, hope that they counter back, I counter spell, and then I ultimate Tamiyo. Okay, so let's do that. Wrath. They just let it resolve, and I'm going to draw my entire deck, and I think then they concede, or they have one. I think they try and resolve one more spell, which I counter. Let's see. Yeah, they play the Oculus. I counter. I have so many cards in hand that it's really okay, because I'm just going to spell pierce their spell pierce. And even if they would have had anything, I would have... Look at my hand. I was not losing this game. I had everything. Of course, you draw your entire deck, so I was not losing. This is unfortunate. This opening hand is really, really good, but it's a bit... You know, the mana is just too bad. I cannot keep this. I have to mulligan and feel bad about this. So this opening hand is okay. I'm just going to get rid of the Ghost Vacuum, because I think it's the worst card in there. Them Thought Seizing me turn 1 is unfortunate, not the end of the world, but yeah, we'll just see what happens. I have only Wrath, I do have Flage, so if I Faithless Looting, I can maybe find the stuff that I need, but I'm afraid of them having counter magic, and me not having a removal spell that turn was very important, because I think if I was able to get rid of the frog, I would have been in full control, but now they can just control their frog, and it becomes difficult for me to navigate my way through this. Anyway, I'm just going to tune. I'm going to try and kill this frog. I was debating what I should do. Do I want to play the Teferi, or do I want to play the Wrath of the Skies? I decide to play the Wrath of the Skies first. This is to play around Mystical Dispute. However, they can just hardcast it, but at least if they do that, I'm able to play the Teferi the turn afterwards. And if it fails, I'm able to play the Faithless Looting, which is what I did. So with me having the Flage, I know that next turn I should be able to replay the Flage, and I'm just going to try and play one of my Haymakers each and sing each every turn. That's the idea, and they need to have a combination of the complete nuts every single time to prevent me from doing my thing. So I'm going to try and play the Flage, see what happens. They do have Mystical Dispute. Okay, sucks, but so be it. Next turn I can also play the Teferi. I hope to draw land so I can play Ending first and then Teferi. That would be ideal, because I do think that plays around a potential, double or one counterspell in their hand. So that was the idea. They Thought Seize me, that's unfortunate, because now they can get rid of the Prismatic Ending. Graveyard Trespasser, really good, so now I just want to find Wrath of the Skies, but they have Spell Pierce as well, so they just had it all, really. That was the best combination that they could have had. And you can usually see how this game is playing out, right? They were able to resolve turn 2 Frog, and I did not have an early removal spell, even though my deck's filled with removal spells, but you still need to have them. And if they're able to navigate their way through the game with Frog, it becomes difficult for you. Now, as I said before, they have way too many removal spells for me to make it work. So that's unfortunate too. But I mean, that's, as I said, this plays like Legacy. So I'm going to block the Frog, hope that they dump cards in there, but they do not fall for my trap. I was just setting up a Wrath of the Skies trap, but doesn't work. Force Negation 2, so way too many removal spells, and as I said, I want more Mystical Disputes, because it stops everything that this deck's trying to do, and I just lose here. It's still a really, really cool game. A lot of back and forth, but we ended up losing this one. Let's go to the last round. I'm on the play, and this hand's fine, has everything that I want pretty much, so I decide to keep. Just gonna start with Hallowed Fountain, untap because I want to Lorien, and I am playing against Eldrazi. Good to be able to do that in this league, because I wanted to test my deck against the Grixis deck, the blue-black Murktide deck, the Energy deck, and Eldrazi. Eldrazi especially is a very difficult matchup, I believe, so I just get rid of these Flages. Force Negation also not really good. In fact, the main reason why I'm playing Blood Moon still is specifically for this matchup. And I think we will see it being relevant in both of the next games. I'm just not sure if this is good enough. And, well, let me know if because I'm interested. Do you have suggestions? If I do not want to play Blood Moon, what's very good against Eldrazi? I already have 4 consigns, which is of course extremely good, but I'm just not sure what else I should be playing. The main reason is that Blood Moon is good, but it requires me to also sometimes, you know, with my shaky mana base, I'm sometimes just not able to make it work. Like imagine if I draw Blood Moon here at any point, we are in trouble. Anyway, I'm just going to play Flage here, going to kill the Microspawn, but against Eldrazi it's just not good enough. It's really not. They will have... Their Haymakers are just much more powerful than what I'm going to try and do. Historically, this has always been true, you know. Control against Eldrazi is just awful. I even just get rid of the Siren of 7 Deaths, pay 7 life just to try and buy myself a turn, which is not where you want to be. Paying 7 life is scary. Now I can, if I find a removal spell, get rid of it. I can pay the life, but they have Chalice. Now, Chalice is really not good against Jeskai. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it doesn't do anything, but it's just, I don't really care about the card. Okay, so I'm going to draw a bunch of stuff here. Flip the Tamiyo plus... I don't even know at this point what actually wins me the game. How can I win here? Maybe if I have like a super big Wrath of the Skies. But they followed up with another one, and that's game. I think I'm going to draw 1 card from the clue and then 1 for the turn, but pretty much don't have anything, and I concede. Now, this is an opening hand that you really want to see against Eldrazi. You really need to have either Blood Moon or Consigns. It's basically the same in Legacy. The best thing is you have Consign and Blood Moon. If you have that, then you're pretty well set up to deal with what you're going to try and do. Now, in Modern especially, it's difficult to get your basics because you have so many double pipped cards as well. So I felt like that makes it really, really difficult. Anyway, let me know if you have suggestions for other cards we can play. We do find an island. That's a basic, so that's really good. Ideally, I'm now going to be able to find plains as well. So I'm just going to play Tamiyo. I have Consign up, so I was pretty happy. I could have consigned the Ugin's Labyrinth trigger. I decide not to. Just interesting to note. This is cool, so they're going to, in my upkeep, they're going to use the Kozilek's Command. I'm going to say nope. Wrath of the Skies, not terribly exciting against Eldrazi. Gonna slam in. Oh yes, sideboarding. I'll do that at the end of this game. So we slam in. Tamiyo. I'm just gonna draw some cards if we can. Here we have an Eldrazi, but we do have Consign, so we can stop the trigger from happening. Now, Battle Mage is really fine. I don't care. They can bounce Tamiyo. If that's the only thing they want to do, I was happy with that. So I'm just going to draw here. Play the Tamiyo. I'm going to Faithless Looting immediately, and I'm going to get rid of 1 Wrath and 1 Flage. I can still play Consign. I'm going to plus the Tamiyo. So quite unhappy that I didn't find the land here. That was unfortunate. And they play Null Drifter here, and funny enough, I could... it's counterable. Now, of course, it's not going to resolve. I just do not want them to draw cards. With them having found the Cavern of Souls, I'm afraid of the bodies, really. So I decided to just use the Consign and let them not draw cards. So I'm going to tune, and there we have a mountain. That's nice. Finally, a land. This means that I can play my my Oculus, and it kills really fast. So that was the idea. Hope that they stumble a bit and kill them very, very quickly. Okay, they call this command on the Oculus. That's unfortunate. But I still have a good Wrath going, and since Tamiyo is now on 7, I felt like, okay, so if I just Wrath, I should be good. And having drawn Blood Moon is also very interesting because ideally what I want happening is I want to now get rid of all of their mana sources and them not being able to do anything to Tamiyo. And then I can follow it up next turn with a Blood Moon, which could be good. I think Blood Moon will shut down the game. I really do want to find plains, but if I ultimate with Tamiyo, there will be a plains in there. And Chalice is okay. I was really happy with them having a 2-play Chalice because it doesn't do anything. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to ultimate, I'm going to Blood Moon, and game's over. They will try to do something, but I mean, I'm just gonna go have a through this, but it's the same, right? If you have Tamiyo and you ultimate, the game's over. So I can just chill, even if I, so here we have planes. I'm just going to play a planes each turn, and then I can play the Flage, and from there we win. I have counter magic, I have more memories, so they just concede. So Blood Moon was good here, but it was only good because I was able to get to the late game, which is why I'm not sure if Blood Moon's good enough. If it's in the opening hand, though, it will also be good. I'm just not sure. Oh, sideboarding, right. So, sideboarding. What you do is you take out counter magic. I've done this in a lot of matchups, so I was thinking maybe I should play less of these forces, put them into the sideboard, and play like Prismatic Endings main. Not sure. Anyway, take out bad counter magic, Prismatic Ending not the best, and then you just bring in all of the Consigned Memories and the Blood Moons. That's fairly easy sideboarding. Last game. This opening hand is very bad. Unfortunately, I have to mulligan here. This opening hand is very bad, but I'm going to keep. I'm not going to mulligan to 5, and at least I have Blood Moon. So I didn't feel great here. In fact, I felt pretty bad, but there's only so much you can do, right? So I do leave the memory on top. I really like that because you can get through the chalice with a memory, because you can actually play the replicate, and it chalice doesn't work on replicate. Why I really like this opening hand is that I'm able to get my basics, right? Unfortunately, this is an Arab Mesa, because what's going to happen is, yeah, let's just show you. So, okay, they play Cosmic's Command. I do not want them to have mana. That's basically it. So I'm going to replicate. You can see Chalice countering the first consign, but the other one, the copy, doesn't work. So I was debating what I should do now, because I failed to draw land, which is unfortunate. Ideally, what I would have found is I would have found Island, and then this would have been a different game, because now what am I going to do? All of the so the Galvanic Discharge on the threat doesn't work. I could also go for Wrath of the Skies, kill the Chalice, and then just call the day. I can't cast his Oculuses, so very bad draws there indeed. So you see a lot of bad dead cards in my hand. So it was going to be playing either Blood Moon or Wrath of the Skies. I went for playing the Blood Moon now, getting planes, and then I actually had the possibility of playing the Wrath of the Skies later, because I was hoping that this would just completely shut down my opponent's strategy. But this is a risk. Now, we did draw Flage. That was perfect. That was the perfect draw. I'm not going to lie. Getting rid of that one is what I wanted to have happen. And now we're just in the draw go phase, where I think I am favored. So I Wrath of the Skies, get rid of the Chalice. But I have Mana Screw as well now, right? So I was just hoping to be able to cast an Oculus soon or something like that. So now I have double red, double white, but I don't have a way to actually get another card into the graveyard, so I can't cast this Flage. So spoiler alert, I ended up losing here because they just had a land each turn and I had a Mana Screw, unfortunately. So looking back on this, I think the Blood Moon was good, but my draws were very poor. So maybe the Blood Moon is just good enough. I am thinking about other ideas as well, so I'm still open to other suggestions, hearing from you in the comments. I've been even thinking about maybe playing Winter Moon. If you know that card, go check it out, because I do think it will be very good against Eldrazi, but then we also need our basics. So I'm just thinking out loud. Anyway, back to the game. You can see this game's over. I tried, but they just found their lands, and I haven't not been able to recover from this. And what I like about Winter Moon is that it will prevent them from doing a whole lot, because them only being able to untap one land each turn, and if I get my basics, it's really good. Especially since Winter Moon only costs 2, I think it can be very relevant. Anyway, I just have a huge Wrath of the Skies, which is cool, so we are able to do that. I need to kill my own Blood Moon, unfortunately, but otherwise I'm just dead, because they attack with the Sire of Insanity. Sorry, Sire of 7 Deaths. But I will just accept that I have to do this, and I do not expect to win here, as you can see. So they're going to have some Eldrazi, play all of this, and I think I just lose in this turn. Maybe I'm going to go one draw and then concede. But even if I could search through my deck now and take one card out of there, I don't think I can come back from this. I don't have any board wipes except for Wrath of the Skies, but I only have 2 energy here available, so we are simply dead. Devourer 2, so they're getting rid of Tamiyo. Gonna go for draw, Faithless Looting, and we just concede. Okay, so finishing thoughts. We had game against pretty much every single deck in the format, beating a lot of top decks, and even the games that we lost, we both lost 1 and 2, and I felt like I could have won both of them fairly easily too. Against Eldrazi last game, we were a bit mana screw, and against the Murktide, well, I always say Murktide there, but it's Oculus right now. We went 1 and 2, and also the last game, we could have just as easily won had we found like a removal spell for the Frog turn 2, or if they didn't have a flurry of only counter magic in the hand. So this deck felt nice. I felt like playing Legacy. This was awesome. I will be playing this and tuning the deck even more, but I do think this is personally for me the future of Jeskai in Modern, and I'm excited for the future because a combination of looting and all these graveyard strategies, you know, Tamiyo, etc., without being so reliant on the graveyard is what I love. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content, and I hope to see you for another video soon. Bye.